Hey guys, it's KJ from the Scariest Movie Ever channel on YouTube, and I wanted to do a video on the most recent Grammys. It's the 60th annual Grammys. So this of course is an awards show for music, where musicians basically pat each other on the back. Same with the industry. So it's interesting because we've come to a place in the last several years that anytime there's some kind of a major award ceremony or even major public event, I'm talking Oscars, Grammys, even the Super Bowl, halftime shows. But anytime one of these events come up, there's no doubt we're going to be able to find some kind of a ritual taking place before our very eyes. The majority of the people in these industries have sold themselves out. This is where we get the terminology Illuminati puppet or satanic sellout. And that's not just me throwing those terms out there loosely. We judge people by their fruits. I'm going to cover some of that in this video as well, because when you look at the fruits of somebody as opposed to their words, you'll find truth. And oftentimes, these major artists' fruit is rotten to the core, and it's obviously satanic not only in its symbolism, but oftentimes in the words they're speaking, or the messages they're trying to get across in these films, or these songs. I will say, however, they've become a lot sneakier over the years. This stuff used to be so blatant. You can look back to the Grammys 2014 performance from Katy Perry, which was obviously a massive satanic ritual right before the public's very eyes. And as far as this symbolism goes, a lot of these mainstream Illuminati artists, their symbolism is interchangeable. There's a handful of these people at the top of the pyramid, if you will, who are constantly putting out the same kinds of messages. This is Katy Perry again. We see her giving reverence to the fallen angels. And this is from Katy Perry's 2015 Grammy performance, where she was performing in front of massive shadows. But once again, this is reverence to the giants. We're connected back to the fallen angels. You may be new to this kind of knowledge, and this may seem really crazy to you, but the fact remains that, again, these people are satanic sellouts. Part of that process is them giving reverence to the God that they follow. They give reverence to the God that gives them fame and fortune. So again, we'll constantly find these same themes playing throughout all of these rituals. So speaking of these satanic sellouts, Lady Gaga is definitely one that's at the top of the pyramid. If you're not familiar with the esoteric and occult meanings behind a lot of her work and her videos and her songs in general, please research this for yourself. Because right here, once again, as I was telling you, we find a common theme. This is from the Grammys 2018, and this is one of the first performances. So once again here we see symbolism of the fallen angels. And again, this is nothing new for Lady Gaga. This is an image from her performance at the MTV Video Music Awards 2013. And this entire performance was symbolic of blood ritual. And again, this was in a major awards show. Most people just write this stuff off as her being creative. Some of you may remember Lady Gaga's performance from the Super Bowl last year. So in the background, those are actually drones. Now, I did a video on this a while back where I believe it's supposed to be symbolic of orbs. The orb UFOs, in my opinion, are the demonic interdimensional beings. Now, I've covered this extensively if you want to look through some of my other videos on that subject. So when I'm doing these kinds of videos, I always need confirmations, and the one thing that really came to me when I was watching this performance, and the reason I associate these drones as the orbs, is because this performance was giving reverence to the devil falling to the earth from heaven. Because shortly after she started singing, she winds up jumping off of the building. She has cables on her, and she literally fell to the earth, with all of these orbs behind her. There's different ways that they portray this, and they've done it many times before. During the Super Bowl halftime show in 2015, Katy Perry once again pushed forward this very same theme. It's the devil falling to earth, the falling star, the fallen star of Satan. So getting back to the basics, there's a few things I want to cover. First off, this award ceremony, this Grammy ceremony, is the first one they've had in New York City in 15 years. We'll talk more about that in a second. But it's also the 60th annual. So when dealing with occultists, we have to understand their language, and numbers are a really big deal with these people. So just out of curiosity, I looked up the properties of the number 60. And the third one down I found very interesting. This number corresponds to the Hebraic letter Samek, figuring the astral snake tempter of Eve, karma cosmic. It corresponds also to the 15th arcane of the tarot, the devil, which figures in a certain manner to the cosmic fate. So I found the timing of them having this Grammys Award ceremony in New York City very interesting, because some of you may know that over the last several years, many people have been having dreams and visions, and also dropping a lot of knowledge on the idea that New York City will be attacked. That there's going to be a nuclear event around New York City, and it will be consumed by tsunamis. So if you're not familiar with the money mysteries, please look into this for yourself. The 9/11 event that took place in America is actually found coded in American money. So was the Oklahoma City bombing. And there's 2 other events that's coded in the money that haven't happened yet. One of them was on the newer $100 bill they created just a few years ago. On this $100 bill, many people have found the destruction of New York City. When these events all start popping off once World War III really starts, those won't be the only places. But it is interesting that they are found once again coded in our money. So if you're unfamiliar with this particular subject, please look up a gentleman on YouTube named Jonathan Kleck, K-L-E-C-K, and he was the first to discover this money mystery, this one in particular. Because this is the system we're dealing with. Again, we are dealing with the occult. We're dealing with literally sorcerers and witches at the top of the pyramid, as crazy as that may sound. And all of what they're doing here is lesser magic. Some of us call it predictive programming or even social engineering, but at its very base, this is lesser magic. It's showing you what they're going to do before they do it. This right here is an image of St. John's Pillars, and this is in New York City, and it's been there for many, many, many years. But on these pillars, they're quite apocalyptic. They really do show the destruction of New York City right here by waves. And they show so much more. Right here's the Kabbalah Tree of Life. And this image right here implies that after this destruction, the Antichrist will be born. Now, not born like a baby, but it will be revealed in this world. Once the destruction comes, the Antichrist takes over. And if you want to get a clearer idea of what I'm talking about, you can just go to YouTube and type in New York City Tsunami Dream Vision, which I did, and here you will find video after video after video. And these go back many years, some of these. So it's been happening for a long time. So keeping all of that in mind, once again remembering that a lot of times they will foretell our futures through a lot of these public events, these award ceremonies, these public rituals. And throughout the whole show they kept talking about New York City, and we'll show you some more of that in just a little bit. Another performance during the ritual was from Kendrick Lamar, and this was very interesting as well. It had the American flag in the background and had all these troops on the stage. These troops didn't look like traditional American military troops. They all had face coverings as well, so almost signifying some kind of a maybe paramilitary type group. And then at one point during the performance, a bunch of people show up wearing all red, and as Kendrick Lamar is singing, he's also pointing his fingers out as if shooting, and all these people start falling dead. Also during this performance, at one point we have fire raining down from the skies on top of all these people. When World War III starts, America is not going to be safe. America is going to be invaded. So I see this as a hint of what's to come for America, and these people know it, whether some of them are actively involved or not. The spirit moves through these people. We have an unusual military force on American soil. We have lots of people dying, and we also have fire raining down on top of all of them. And something else they kept doing throughout this ceremony I saw as some form of subliminal. They had several performances up there where there were people wearing white, and they were singing songs about praying. This guy right here is singing a song, I believe it's called Pray, and he's surrounded by a gospel choir. It's all set up to look like church. And this is not a spirit of God. But they portray that through a lot of their performances. And I'll show you some other connections with that here shortly. Here's something else symbolically that really stood out to me. I couldn't help but notice. This is the Best New Artist Award. Now as this young lady goes up to the stage and gets her award, she's literally standing right in front of a subliminal Baphomet. You can see the horns on both sides of the words Best New Artist. And since this is a young girl and this is her first award, some may even see this symbolically as a lamb. A sheep being led to the slaughter. Here's another one of those performances where they have somebody in white and they're singing this slow-moving, soulful type song. And of course, just like most of these award ceremonies, they're standing in the middle of the magic circle. And speaking of the magic circle, here's just another example from the 2014 MTV Video Music Awards. And once again, they're standing in the center of the magic circle and they're surrounded by the 666. And as I said, these songs where the people are wearing white and they're really soulful, a few of these songs are literally talking about praying. So it's right there before our very eyes. This is Pink, and she did a song like this as well, of course wearing all white. But let's take a look back on Pink, and we'll take a look at one of her first rituals she did in public. So here's Pink from way back in 2009, and she's literally going through a Masonic initiation on stage. It's a classic picture here. A lot of people have used it to put their points forward on this. But just understand that MTV is Masonic TV. They literally have a Masonic lodge in Canada where MTV is run out of. So no matter how much they can pretty these people up, and no matter how great their songs might be or how cool their music videos might be, we really need to understand the spirit that drives these people. So continuing on with just the basic symbolism, right here I thought was interesting, but I have a good shot right here of the lights that are up on the stage, and once again you can see these are hexagons. A hexagon goes back to Saturn, Saturnalia, Saturn worship, Satan. These are images from the Cassini spacecraft from many years ago, and you can actually see the hexagon on Saturn. So some of you may be thinking this is just a reach, and this is why anytime I get into symbols on anything, I need confirmations. And I got my confirmation shortly thereafter during the performance. That's DJ Khaled up there, and just to his left is a massive symbol of Saturn. So some of you may still think that was kind of a reach. But then right here's DJ Khaled just before he went up and did his performance, and he's flashing the diamond. The diamond is the as above, so below paradigm. This is symbolism. Most of you who research this type of thing have seen this before already. This is an old school at this point, a so-called Illuminati symbol that we see in so many movies, TV shows, and specifically in music videos. This man is a satanic sellout. So this is during his performance, and he's with Rihanna. You can kind of see her there. She's more or less center stage, but I want you to take a look over to the left side, and you see those two glowing orbs. And pay attention because those are actually sitting in the palms of two hands. Which brings me to the next bit of this video, and that's Kesha, the singer Kesha, up on stage surrounded by other female singers, and they're all wearing white once again, and of course they placed them under the rainbow. I'm going to cover something else in the rainbow here shortly, but that has been co-opted by this satanic beast system. The rainbow originally was a promise from God, but now it's been co-opted and it's connected to the LGBTQ and the trans movement, gender fluidity, all of it. So again, I'll cover that again shortly. Throughout her performance, Kesha constantly threw up the devil horns, the satanic horns. But pay attention closely to her palm. On her palms, she has eyes tattooed. Now I understand there's a lot of traditional meanings for this. I feel sometimes the truth gets muddied up by these different interpretations. I'm using the very basic, where the all-seeing eye is the eye of the beast. It's the eye of the beast system. And again, we see this time and time again. It's been proven over and over through the language of symbols. So this is the false light in the palms. This is the false light in the palms up on the stage. It's the false light of Lucifer, if you will. Again, this girl is a massive satanic sellout, okay? And I'm not hating on her for that. If anything, I feel bad for some of these people because I'm sure they get into these things for the wrong reasons anyway. And then they have to pay the price. But as far as the language of symbols goes, again, we look at these people because they will show us the language, the symbols of the beast system, of this satanic system. So here she has the rainbow. Once again, that's been co-opted by this New Age beast system. She also has a UFO or a flying saucer on her as well. I'm going to tie all this together here shortly, but once again, that's another symbol of this beast system. What I believe is going to be a coming great deception. It's the idea that there really are no aliens, that these are fallen angels in disguise. We were talking about Saturn, correct? Well, she also has Saturn tattoos. Now, are you beginning to see how this all falls in together? These satanic sellouts are basically puppets, or basically billboards for the beast system. And we find connections with all of these symbols. So now back to New York City. This is U2 performing somewhere near the end of the ceremony, and they're performing near the Statue of Liberty. Many of you watching my videos already understand what the Statue of Liberty really is. This is a representation of that mother goddess system. Just another branch on the tree of the beast. Also, taking everything I've shown you into consideration, isn't it interesting? Once again, this is the first Grammys in New York City in 15 years, and many people believe we're right on the verge of seeing New York City destroyed. So here's where it gets even a bit creepier, and this was very strange when I saw them doing this on the Grammys anyway. But after the U2 performance near the Statue of Liberty, they brought out several celebrities and they showed them reading Fire and Fury, which is an anti-Trump book. So it's debated on how truthful that book is, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, these people went up there, they were broadcast on the Grammys, different celebrities, and they're reading excerpts from this book. And the stuff they were reading, it was stuff about his eating habits or eating at McDonald's. They were making fun of his hair, things like this. This really is unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this in America, ever. Like the massive disrespect for the President of the United States, especially put on display like this. So it reminds me of a video I did a while back called How Obama Will Become President Again, with some question marks. Just before they showed this, they actually showed Obama up on screen getting a Grammy Award. So Obama got a Grammy Award several years ago. Right after they show Obama, and of course it's to great applause, the people out there love Obama. But right after that, they launched into this, where there's people literally making fun of the most basic things on the President of the United States. Again, his hair color, or what he likes to eat, things like this. It was very immature. At the very least, it was incredibly immature. Most of you know I'm not into the political parties anyway, but I just found this just very interesting. And can you imagine what other countries must think of America when they see stuff like this? And they even pulled the old witch out. Hillary Clinton was in this. Oi. They pulled the old witch out of the closet, and even she was up there reading Fire and Fury. But it is even more interesting because the Bible tells us America will be destroyed, the world will be destroyed by fire and fury. Kind of like the Kendrick Lamar performance at the beginning. Again, a different military on American soil. People dying, and fire raining down from above. So now I just want to cover a few things about some commercials they played during the Grammys, and this is a young singer named Maren Morris. It was basically an advertisement for Target, but it was so much more. As they've done so many times in the past, they will literally initiate people into the industry in a public way during these performances, during these award ceremonies. If you're unfamiliar with that, please look back and do a little research for yourself, specifically Taylor Swift. Look back on her initiation into the industry during the Music Video Awards with MTV. So here's just one image from that music video, and of course here's the kid with the checkerboard. We always have the checkerboard, right? It's the as above, so below paradigm. This goes back to the Masonic lodges. Now here's another image from the music video. Once again, she's the lady in red. Now red has to do with initiation. And she's surrounded by the traditional red, black, and white satanic Hollywood colors. So here's Taylor Swift. She was actually invited on stage by Beyonce. This is the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards. Once again, the lady in red. And this was part of her initiation. Many of you probably remember the news. This is when Kanye West got on stage and said she didn't deserve the award. And that's part of a humiliation process that's also connected with a lot of these public initiations. And just as another example, here's Demi Lovato, and this is from a 2012 performance. I think it was the People's Choice Awards. But again, we have the traditional red, black, and white of these satanic Hollywood sellouts. And she's the lady in red, and this was her initiation process as well. And finally, here's another commercial they ran during the Grammys. I saw it a few times, and this is the new Animojis. And this is the Alien Animoji 2018 for the iPhone X. Those of you who know my work know what I believe about these aliens. I believe these are the fallen angels, or the interdimensional demonic spirits. I have a whole playlist called Alien Demon Deception if you want to get caught up on that idea. So of course they have this commercial running, but there's something else. So as the commercial plays out, they bring in the unicorns. We're seeing the unicorns everywhere nowadays, right? It's always connected with the rainbow. It's also connected with these genderless aliens. As I said earlier, the rainbow has been co-opted. And it's very odd, but the unicorn has become a symbol of this beast system. I believe that once it's fully manifested, it's all going to be about, quote, free love, no judgment, and that anything goes. If it feels good, do it, because it's all about love, or a false love. And this is why we're seeing so much with the trans agenda and gender fluidity and all this confusion. It's been building up over the last few years, and every day it's getting crazier. Because we're literally seeing the Antichrist beast system fully manifesting before our very eyes. And that's what I saw when I watched the Grammys 2018. We're living in a time where you really do have to have the spiritual eyes to be able to see these kinds of things. This is a spiritual battle. I appreciate you watching the video, and you may not believe the same way I do, but I do have to put it out there, because people will ask, I see it now, but now what do I do? My belief is that the only thing that matters at this point in time is that you have Jesus Christ, and you get that connection to our Heavenly Father. You get Holy Spirit filled. You read the Word of God for yourself. But be guided spiritually in these times, because all of this is manifesting at an accelerated rate, unlike anything I've seen in years, and I've been watching this stuff for a very long time. So that's all. I will leave you with that. Thank you so much once again for watching the video. I hope you're doing well out there. Take care of yourselves, okay? And I'll talk to you a little later.